I just want to revisit the anchor tags and links. If you remember, we created this link here, and if you click on the word link, then it will take us to page 2 that we created. Perhaps we don't want that page to be created or opened in the same browser window, but we want it to open a new browser window. To do this, we can add an attribute called target, and the one that we use is this thing called _blank. So using the keyword and the attribute target equal, and then in quotes _blank, will result in the web page being opened in a separate browser window. So let's just refresh that and show you. So rather than the web page being opened up in the same window, it's going to be opened up in a separate window. Quite often you would use this kind of link if you were linking to an external site and you don't want the user to browse away from your own website. For this next demonstration to do with links, I need to add some extra text to our page. So just underneath the Blackadder image, I'm going to create a new paragraph, and I've just copied to the clipboard lots and lots of dummy text. So let's just save that and check that there's enough there. Okay, what I might actually do is add it again, because I want enough so that we can scroll up and down the page. So let me just copy and paste that again. There we go. Okay, so we've got enough text there so we can scroll up and down the page. You'll notice again, just to reiterate the point, that any kind of white space within our code is removed by the browser. It appears to be quite nicely spaced out in our code, i.e. we've got separation here between paragraphs, but when we actually view it in the browser window, all that white space has been removed. And if we wanted it to be separated, we would actually have to add some tags there. So perhaps we'd start the paragraph there, and for example we'd end that paragraph, and then we'd open a second paragraph, etc. And if we just save that and view it, then you'll notice, yeah, okay, it's now nicely spaced out. The purpose of adding all this extra text is to show you how we can add a link so that it actually takes you to a certain place within a page. The way to do this is to add an anchor tag where we want it to scroll to, and assign it a name. Just call it end. And then wherever we've got the link that we want to be able to click on to take it to that point, instead of having a page, we just type the name of that anchor tag that we've named and precede it by a hash. Okay, so we've got hash end, and that relates to the anchor that we've named at the bottom here. We also just need to remove the target blank so it opens up in the same window. And if we just refresh the page and click on the link button, and there we go. The page has scrolled down to the position that we want to go to on that page, the place that we've anchored. This is commonly used, for example, perhaps if we've got a very long page that has a number of glossary items perhaps, and you've got items there listed between A to Z, and perhaps at the top of the page you want to be able to put a bar where perhaps someone can click on A or B or C, and it will scroll automatically to that place in the page. We've talked about using these kind of links to be able to scroll to a position in the current page. Similarly, we could do the same to a different page. So for example, if we wanted to scroll to a position or an anchor called end on a different page, perhaps our second page, which is that page 2.html, then before the hash sign we just put the page name. If we open up that second page, and we'll copy all of this text into it along with the anchor tag. Just to remind you, thereabouts is the anchor tag. And we'll refresh the page, and now when we click on the link, it should take us not only to that second page but also scroll to the particular point within that page that we want to go to. And there we go. If you remember, the anchor tag is down here, so it scrolled it to that place on the page. So far we've looked at how you can add a link to just a bit of text, but you can also add a link to a picture. So we'll switch back to our main index page and back to our image here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the same link to not only the text that we've got up here but also to this image. And we do it in exactly the same way that we would do for adding an anchor link to some text. So we use href, and we're going to go to exactly the same place, so page 2.html, and again we'll go to that anchor point. So at the end of the image we just close the anchor tag. And if we browse back to the first page, then you'll notice now when we put our mouse over the image, the pointer changes and it indicates that it's also a link. And if we click on it, then it links to the same place that the link on the text did. One thing that you might notice, however, on the picture now is that it has a blue border. And this formatting happens because our image is now a link. But quite often you don't want that blue border around your image. So if you want to get rid of it, you actually have to add a special attribute to the image. And the attribute that you add is the border, and you just have to specify that you want the border to be 0. Otherwise, by default, it will be 1. So if we specify it to be 0, and then refresh, and there we go, that blue border has now disappeared. If you want it back again, you can either remove that attribute, or perhaps if you wanted a larger border around it, then we could change that number to any number you wanted to. So let's just change it to 4 and refresh. There we go, we've got a nice big border around our link.